everybody, and a very warm welcome to the pitching session for the pre-seed financing round. Are you having a good time? I cannot hear you, come on. Are you having a good time? I know it just started. Yeah, that's better, much better, because I know there are some people behind. They're really nervous because they are about to pitch. Well, in the early stages of a startup, the founders often live of their own savings. And in addition, from the capital of the 3 Fs, family, friends, and fools. Let's see if we found some more fools tonight. The purpose of pre-seed financing is to enable the young company to finance the initial development of a business plan. And in the early phase of a startup, it's all about bringing a compelling idea finally to life. In today's session, we will hear 6 pitches of early-stage startups. A jury of experts will decide who wins the competition. And the best 3 pitches will receive a prize of 2,000 francs for the 3rd place, 3,000 francs for second place, and 5,000 for the winner. But it's not only about the competition, of course, because who knows, it might be that there are some investors also here in the audience who are interested. Over 40 startups did apply for pitching tonight for this competition. And for the very first time this year, we held a public voting. So the startup with the most votes from the public voting qualified for the pitching session tonight. So 1 startup from the public voting. And another startup qualified via Launch Control, which is an incubator and accelerator from the Home of Innovation. And the remaining 4 startups were selected by a very, very top-class jury. So let's get started by welcoming this jury. Give a round of applause for Arijana Walcott. She is managing partner at Dart Ventures. Come on, give a little bit of an applause. Then we have Aron Braun. He is with the Business Angels Switzerland and professor at the Berner Fachhochschule. Please welcome, hi Aron, please welcome Giuffredi. Guy, where are you? Hello Guy, general partner at Koyo. Next up is Pascal Stürchler. He is co-founder and CEO from Bloomhaus Ventures. Hello Pascal. Warm applause for Craig Cooper, partner at Serpentine Ventures. Hi Craig. Then I want to welcome Jacqueline Rüsch, founding general partner at Privilège Ventures. Hello. And last but not least, Jan Lederhausen, transaction manager at the UBS Growth Advisory Team. Another round of applause. Come on, give it up for the jury. Thank you for being here. So, and this is how it works. Every startup gets 3 minutes to present their pitches. After the pitch, the jury gets the chance to ask some questions for around 5 minutes. And after we heard all 6 pitches, the jury will consolidate their results, but we won't hear them right afterwards, but at the closing ceremony, who is the winner. So I know the hearts are beating fast backstage. Therefore, I beg you to really give a big applause for the first startup, which is Equiverse, a startup with horsepower who wants to improve the horse care. Please welcome Nisha Klemencic.
Good evening. My name is Neja, and I'm founder and CEO of Equiverse app, a management solution for equestrian industry. Horses have been my lifelong passion, from growing up and starting to ride my first competitions in Slovenia, all the way becoming a riding instructor in London's Hyde Park. I noticed a challenge that was poor digitalization, so I decided to tackle it. Horse care and horse management includes a lot of people and time. Unfortunately, managing all of it is still a huge problem, especially for larger equestrian centers. Now, imagine having 50+ horses, all with different needs, feeding, training, farrier, and vet appointments, while having multiple team members, such as riders, trainers, owners, farriers, or vets. Now add to that a competition or a seminar at your facility, and you're in for a big chaos. So this is where Equiverse comes into play. We have created a unified platform for equestrian industry, allowing users to have everything in one place, from your personal horse and information, all the way managing a multi-leveled equestrian property. Each horse has personalized profile, including all needs, feeding, training, and appointments. Furthermore, team members can simply be assigned, making it an efficient way to avoid any miscommunications or mistakes. We have already developed our MVP and starting testing it with selected stables in Europe. Our further plan is to add AI-powered breeding book that will help you find the perfect stallion for your mare based on their predispositions. And additionally, we will launch a competition segment, making events easier for organizers, participants, and officials. As a vision, it sounds amazing, right? In fact, equestrian industry is valued over $300 billion globally, with more than 50 million registered horses and 5 million horse owners only in Europe, UK, and US. There are more than 88,000 competitions happening, and millions of horses are sold annually. Our go-to-market strategy focuses on 3 key channels: targeted digital marketing, strategic partnerships and in events, and free trials with promotions. Together, these 3 channels will establish us as main platform in equestrian industry. Equiverse app is multi-tier subscription platform, offering both free and paid options, plus fees from users selling their services. We require to get 25,000 paying subscribers over the next 3 years that will result in combined revenue of 11 million. So thank you for your time, and we invite you to join us in shaping equestrian future together.
Thank you so much. Big round of applause. Thank you. So I want to welcome your business partner, Rok Kogovcek, for the Q&A session. Jury, are you ready to have your questions?
Yes, thank you. Since I'm holding the mic, I'll kick off. Thank you for the pitch. How will you make this defensible? How will you build this in such a way that you can protect it so that others don't come along and do the same and really build a moat around what you're doing?
Actually, we have a lot of experience in the equestrian world, so we know that great biggest stables have a lot of problems, and also when competitions come in play, there is a lot of money and there is total chaos when the judges, veterinarians, want to, and if you want to organize this event, you need digitalization in backup. So now everything is made on post-it notes, in Excel spreadsheets, and actually there is no unified platform for that.
Thank you. Who else has a question from the jury? Arijana? No? Aron, please.
Is this only for professional horse breeders, or is it also for private people involved with horses?
Well, it's not just for professionals. It's for breeders. It's for sports stables. It's for riding schools. It's for individuals that are having their own horses and wants to have good care for the horse. Wants to know what's happening. And if you have your own personal horse in boarding stable, you can just connect the app with boarding stable, and you can have adjust their menu, what they're eating. You can adjust or see what they're doing with horse, how the trainings are going. So it's basically for individuals or for clients like big equestrian clubs and event facilities for competitions.
Thank you. Guy?
Yeah, you have an MVP ready, as much as I understand. How many people are using that already, and what's the waiting list for V1 when you make the full release?
Well, we have now 100 horses in our app from selected stables, We are now talking with more stables and arranging that. So I could say that, like, in weighting now we have like between 100 and 155 horses, because those are boarding stables, so they change numbers of horses per month.
Actually, and we will launch our app publicly in December. So we are now conducting alpha test with selected customers, so we can get feedback from actually from targeted groups. So that we didn't launch app publicly yet, but we intend to do in December.
Okay, one last question, one quick last question. Jacqueline,
Yes,
Ogi?
hi.
Then I'll go with a follow-on. Or did you have a question? In terms of the...
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Go for it.
Okay.
Okay, Jacqueline?
How do you plan to scale and get clients and to avoid also that you're going to be copied very fast by other competitors?
Actually, our main strategy to raise up clients is to be technology partner on competitions. So each competition, the biggest ones in Europe, has around 1,000 horse owners at once. And if the venue will have competition organized by our app, so also the horse owners who will come to the competition will need to use the app. So because all the management payments and this will be through our app. So that's our main strategy. Second is limited or targeted digital marketing. So we want.
Okay, thank you very much for the Q&A. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
the presentation and your pitch. Fingers crossed. Big round of applause. Thank you. So next up is a company or a startup that is building the next generation of biogas solution to enable thousands of farms to produce renewable energy and avoid methane gas emissions. Please welcome from nextgas, Ralf Antweiler and Eric Mackey. Big applause, please. Good luck.
Hi, this is Eric. I'm Ralf. Did you know that there are more cows in Switzerland than people living in the city of Zurich? And these cows produce a huge amount of manure, Gülle. Actually, 22 million tons every year. The problem is this manure generates methane gas, and this gas is 28 times more harmful for the climate than CO2. So we want to get rid of that as soon as possible. The good news is, however, we could generate a lot of renewable energy out of this methane. However, today, only 5% of that material is actually used for energy production. And this is because it's not possible for average-size farms to operate a biogas plant, because existing solutions are too big and too expensive. And that is why we have developed the nextgas Powerbox.
When we started to develop our new bioreactor, we kept in mind three things. It has to be extremely efficient. It needs to be affordable for mid-size and small farms. And finally, for our business, it needs to be rapidly scalable. We combined revolutionized fermentation process. We combined that with machine learning, and finally with digital twin to see what's happening in our process. And with this, we achieved approximately 5 times more efficient bioreactor compared to the old conventional ones. We standardized that, and at the moment, we are able to prefabricate all the power boxes in our factory.
With this, small and mid-sized farms can actually make money out of the manure their cows produce. Out of the many farms in Switzerland, 8,000 could utilize such a power box. If we multiply that, just for the fun of it, with the average sales price, this is 6.7 billion of revenues. But equally exciting is that these farms could produce renewable energy to cover the electricity need of the city of Zurich twice. And this is not only a vision. We have a prototype that showcases the invention so nicely that we have patented it. Right now, we're developing a productive pilot together with the University of Applied Science here. And by 2030, we're aiming to produce 200 of these units per year. Because if you want to have an impact on the financial stability of farmers and on prevention of global warming, the aim cannot be to sell 10 or 20 of these. The aim must be to sell hundreds in order to have thousands installed as soon as possible. And if you're talking about thousands, we're talking about the 6.7 billion we can go and get together without competition. This is a significant contribution to the renewable energy production in Switzerland.
Thank you so much. With a little bit of overtime, but it was super interesting, so we'll take that.
Thanks for the pitch.
The first question is already ready.
What's the business model? Are you selling the units? Are you renting them? Is it, and what's the return on investment for the small farm holder?
For the farmer?
Yeah.
Well, at the moment, we're thinking of selling the boxes, like in the first phase. But in order to scale in that size, to shorten the sales cycle, etc., we're looking at a model that we actually own it, or a company owns it, places it there, and the farmer gets something out of it. If we're talking about payback period, oh, is that me? Well, if we're talking about payback period, actually, if they buy it, it's for the farmer today. If they would purchase it, it's 4 years, which is attractive for these kind of investments.
Pascal?
So thank you so much for the presentation. I do have a question. What exactly you have patented? What is behind it? You know, is it just the design or is it technology? Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
We have patented the process itself. We have, I say, revolutionized the conventional fermentation process. It means that our plant is working 100% under pressure, so it's a vacuum-enhanced process. And there are some claims we could make for a patent.
Yes, please, Guy.
Yeah, you mentioned that you sell one of these boxes for 40,000 Swiss francs. What's the cost of production for you guys?
That we sell it for 40,000. No, that's a mistake.
Okay. Okay, sorry. For how much do you sell them, and what's your production cost? So what's the margin that you have?
Well, depends on the size. It's modular. We are looking at let's say 840 for a farmer with 75 kilowatt of energy. The margin is at least 15% for us.
So are you guys buying the gas from the farmer, and do you take care of the logistics? And you have a contract with the farmer regarding pricing mechanisms? Or
yeah. Well, in general, the concept is that the farmer produces gas at his farm and also electricity at his farm and uses that electricity or feeds it into the grid. There is organizations that then collect the electricity and do the marketing of all this for farmers. So the sweet spot is not to feed in gas into the gas network, but to feed in electricity into the grid.
And you also sell them the thing which turns gas into electricity?
Yes.
Okay.
You mentioned first revenues in 2026. How much funding do you think you'll need to get there, and how do you see your exit strategy from today's perspective?
Yes. Well, at the moment, we're looking at $500,000 to continue developing the productive pilot. Then we have already a couple of farmers that are interested to do a first pilot project. And they get, on one hand, funding from substitution, like from the government, for their project. And that helps them to do the pre-invest for us. And then when they get it, they pay the rest. So in short, there is a model that our pre-investment is limited, and they have part of it. Yeah, and then we actually aim to change after like the first few boxes. Having made the experience with it, we aim to change actually the model to not selling the device, but actually change the model to us owning them and them just utilizing it and get something out of the electricity revenue.
We have time for one last question. Yes.
And can you talk a little bit more about how you plan to scale after that first revenue? What's your plan beyond that?
Well, actually, we're looking at the moment at various options on how we can actually scale production. This is also together with the University of Applied Science. Like, how could this be organized? That's one option. The other option is actually to work with a partner that has that capacity or that ability. Maybe it's more than one. Yeah, for them to take over part of the production or assembly also. So there's various options today, but we are already looking at that.
Maybe one quick question, one last.
Burning one. Why did you decide to actually go for a decentralized model instead of collecting the manure and having a centralized facility?
That's exactly the point, because today there are already like 120 biogas plants in agriculture in Switzerland. These are big plants and they bring all the material to that plant. It shows that it's not, well, they don't grow. Because large farms, large environments already have one. And all the others, they will have to, like farmers would have to kind of form an investment group, like investing together into something and then bring the manure and it just doesn't happen. And they all ask for a decentralized solution on their farm because it's you don't want to carry, and also from an ecological perspective, like after 2 or 3 kilometers, you don't want to have the manure being carried by whatever. It just doesn't make sense.
Thank you so much, Ralph and Eric, for your presentation. Big applause for nextgas.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So we had a little bit of overtime here, but we are here not so strict, but we try to. So the next startup is very interesting. We go more into a medical area. It is called digeHealth. It comes from digesting. digeHealth is a med tech company that has the goal to revolutionize gastroenterology. Oh my God, those are words I'm not familiar with. And it is designed to detect bowel obstructions, Reizdarm syndrome, at a very early stage. I'm super curious to hear more about that. Please welcome Noor Galia Abbasi, the CEO of this startup.
Hello, everybody. So I'm Noor. I'm the CEO and co-founder of digeHealth. digeHealth is the first 24/7 bowel monitoring system that ensures the best recovery after a surgery. There are millions of surgeries per year. And there is this complication that happens after a surgery. So during the surgery, the bowel stops, and then it needs to regain its function again. During that time period, we can have this laziness of the bowel that is called postoperative ileus. It happens in 1/4 of patients, and if not detected in time, it can lead to surgeries, infections, perforations, and even death. This has consequences. It can lead to 5 to 30% of mortality rate, it can increase the hospital stay, and it can also increase the overall costs. So how are we going to solve this problem? I'm going to pause and just ask the question. Who has ever heard some sounds coming from the intestine? Everybody, yes. So imagine a world where we can use this technology to be able to solve this problem. So we have developed digeHealth. This is a portable stethoscope that records bowel sounds, heart rate variability, and also activity levels. We also combine this data with patient-reported outcomes, such as symptoms and how the patient is feeling. And then using our algorithm, we can detect if the patient is going to have this postoperative ileus or not. Now, we want to start small, but we want to go way bigger than this. We want to target any chronic illnesses of the bowel, such as inflammatory bowel diseases, or babies monitoring, or functional gastrointestinal disorders in general. All these diseases have common symptoms, and yet until now, we don't have any continuous non-invasive monitoring tool at our disposal. So our vision is to become the blood glucose monitoring system, but for bowel. So instead of having this single spot monitoring, we are going into a 24/7 bowel monitoring. Now, we have developed this prototype, and we have developed our algorithms, and we are now testing it together with hospitals and universities. And we have published the first abstract at the major conference of gastroenterology in Europe. This is the team behind the digeHealth magic. We have more than 25 years of experience combined in gastroenterology, data science, product development, medtech and diagnostics, and also business development. Now, this is where we need your help. We are raising 1.5 million in order to achieve our next milestones in terms of hardware, software, and clinical validation. Now I'm going to end this speech by saying that the best advices are usually coming from the inside. So just listen to your gut. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Nuri, for this. I have to ask, where did this idea come from? Was it a personal story?
Yeah, I used to work at Rolex, and I was listening to watch sounds in order to detect malfunctioning watches. And then I moved to the medtech world, and I used the same technology to have impact on patients' lives. So this is from where it comes.
I understand. So you have a colleague with you. Please introduce yourself.
Hi there, my name's Lyle. I'm the Chief Technology Officer.
And you're joining for the Q&A. Sorry, I asked the first question already. Who is up next?
Thank you so much for the presentation. I do have a question, what are the costs today for monitoring that by nurses, and what will be the costs of your solution?
Yeah, so there is the additional cost when it comes to this delayed intervention, because the nurse needs to monitor the patient 72 hours, but we know that we have a shortage of nurses. So they cannot spend the day listening to bowel sounds. They need to monitor several patients at the same time. So usually we miss this detection of this complication, and then we have 5 more days in the hospital. And if everything goes well, the patient is discharged, but if not, and the patient is fed in the wrong way, then there is an additional complication and an additional cost. So for now, it's more than 11,000, and the cost of our device would be per patient 1,000.
The age-old problem in healthcare, or challenge in healthcare, who pays? So can you talk a little bit more about the business model, what role reimbursement plays, or indeed other forms of revenue?
We are directly going to hospitals, and we are going to show that we are decreasing their costs when it comes to nurses. So instead of having 8 nurses, 3 patients per nurse, we can get 8 patients per nurse, for instance. And we also reduce these numbers of complications that are additional costs and additional bed time for the hospital. And then we are not, we don't discard the reimbursement, because we are also reducing the number of complications. So even insurances are interested.
If we go a bit into the numbers, if you sell to a hospital, how many devices does one hospital need, and how many hospitals do you have in Switzerland or in Europe that you can target?
Sure. So as Noor mentioned, the cost of delayed intervention here is about 11,000, and what we plan on charging is about 1,000 to monitor 1 patient after a surgery. So there's a clear margin that the hospital makes back on the procedure that they've charged the patient for. Now, in terms of patient volumes, so we're currently speaking with a small hospital, which has 3 patients a week, which would be using this system. And we're looking at larger centers around Switzerland, such as the Schuv, and they look at more like 300 to 500 patients a year who would be using the system.
Additionally to that, we don't, for the hospital, we can give them a certain amount of devices that can be reused for each patient, but we are also charging them a subscription fee per patient. That's, if it answers your questions.
Jacqueline, yes,
so is this really a medical device or not yet? Or what class of device is this?
We are aiming for it to be a Class 2 medical device, and for now we CE certified it as a research and investigational device, and we are now using that to have discussions with hospitals. We are already in discussions with 2 and trying to have first revenues by the end of this year for research purposes.
We have time for more questions.
Yeah, I mean, the technology sounds really, really cool. And allergy is a huge topic that you also mentioned. And everybody would like to know, do I really have a lactose allergy or whatever allergy? Why don't you go direct to customer? Then you might not even need a medical certification.
Because first, we have already validated use case with post-operative monitoring. So we want to start small with this specific indication where we know that it's already in use by nurses. So nurses listen to these bowel sounds. In terms of lactose, we are actually having a study with 120 patients. And if we are capable of showing that, then yes, of course, we can open that to a B2C market. But for now, we are focusing on the use case that we know we can solve.
One quick question.
Yeah, I think you showed a couple of papers earlier that you said you published or are publishing. Can you say a couple of words on the data you have around accuracy and efficacy of the device?
Yeah, so we are capable of detecting bowel sounds with an accuracy of 80%. And we're doing a lot of studies when it comes to, for instance, defecation detection or postoperative ileus. But postoperative ileus is just this distribution of bowel sounds, and if there is no sounds, then it means that the person is having it. So it's around 80% of detection for now.
Wonderful.
And additionally, we have also shown in the first abstract that we've published that we have correlations between polypos. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but these are like a lot of polyps. It's the first source of cancer. For colon cancer, and we showed that we have a p-value that is less than 1%, 1% when it comes to some features that we are detecting with our devices. So yeah, we are also now in discussion for another study on cancer screening with the HUG.
Okay, thank you so much. Time is over. Very compelling idea. Big applause for digeHealth. Thank you. Please. So we are halfway through. Do you still have energy to listen to some more pitches? Come on, give it up for the candidates back there. We're really nervous, I can tell. Thank you. So next up is Pascal Weber from Manukai. It's a high-precision metal parts are crucial for the manufacturing sector, yet programming machines to produce these components remains a time-consuming and repetitive task. Manukai offers a solution. Please welcome Pascal Weber.
Hello everyone, I'm Pascal, co-founder and CEO of Manukai. Our vision is to become the largest AI technology provider for the manufacturing industry. And we do that by following our vision to unlock the value of data in manufacturing. But let me start at the very beginning. 2 years ago, me and my co-founder Daniel were sitting at the Thirsty Scholar in Boston, where famously Mark Zuckerberg founded Facebook based on his frustration that there is no social network at Harvard. We had a different kind of frustration. We had a good time together, but we realized that there is not much AI going on in manufacturing, and we were wondering, why is that the case? Me and him did research in that field. We discovered how to use AI for engineering, and we said, okay, if it's not there yet, let's build it. But for a great idea, of course, you first start with a concrete problem in a concrete market. The market we found is metal machining. Metal machining is crucial for all of manufacturing because it provides the high-precision metal parts that are required in planes, cars, and every machine that produces whatever goods you can imagine. Now, the problem that all these metal machining companies have is that programming the machine is still manual. So it's still dependent on one skilled worker that knows how to do it since 20, 30, or 10 years, and there is no means to assess whether he's doing a good job, and there is no means to make him faster by automating some of the repetitive steps. That costs hundreds and thousands of hours per year per company and costs 10,000s of Swiss francs per machine because they're running suboptimally. We solved that by leveraging the past production data using our novel AI model that we are currently patenting. It uses past production information to do the repetitive steps for you and suggests you new options that make the machine go even faster. Now, it's not just an idea and some weird technology being patented. We have world-leading companies being our first clients and have a strong market pool from different other big corporates that really want to see the market go to, this product go to market. So now is your chance to give us the last little push needed in order to bring our product to market. We currently opened our pre-seed round. Minimal ticket size is just 50K, so good deal for you today to join our mission on revolutionizing manufacturing. That will help us to go do the product, bring the product to market, reach product market fit, and finally conquer the world with our AI. Thanks a lot and have a good evening.
Thank you very much, Pascal. I have never heard someone talking about metal manufacturing before this enthusiastic. Thank you so much. Questions from the jury, please.
So, if I get it right, thanks for the nice presentation. If I get it right, you can use all the knowledge of the company, the experience, to automatically set up a new job on the machine. And that's cool. Of course, I wonder, wouldn't it be even cooler if you could use all the knowledge of others to do the same thing? I understand that there's IP issues and things like that, but have you thought about that?
Exactly, yes. That's, I think, one of the steps in the grand vision, right? So once you provide access for several companies, everyone is happy about it, can start building a marketplace where you can trade knowledge, right? I think that's going to be the next level of economy that is going to be particularly important in manufacturing, since there you have all this knowledge stored in all this data that has been around since decades.
You mentioned this was born out of your own frustration, but what does the competitive landscape look like? There must be some other players now, especially that AI is creeping into everything.
Yes, there is companies attempting end-to-end automation, similar to what we have seen in other areas of AI, where it's all about the generation, so that the AI really tells the human what to do. But as also in language, that is not really well accepted. And we are the first movers to create this new approach that only shows you basically your validated data from the past, and that's really unique. On the other hand, the existing players have a moat not because of the technological advancement, just because it's super hard to switch the software. Like it's like an ERP system, you don't switch, not because the system is good, but because it's super expensive to switch. And that, I think, positions us nicely because, yeah, we have this first mover advantage and a market that is open to innovation from outside.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for the great pitch. Really good that you have a very solid call to action for investors, something that everybody should know. That's what we appreciate. Maybe for us to understand a little bit better, what are the concrete use cases you have? I think Bosch as a client and some others. What problem do you solve there, and how do you scale inside such larger organizations after the successful pilots?
Yeah, so as you might know, Bosch provides the metal parts that go into engines of cars. So pretty much every engine and any car has some Bosch metal part inside. Now these are mass production parts that are running millionfold per year, and we look at the existing programs and optimize them. So if we save them, say, 2% on their 200 million production for these particular parts, that's the business model.
Yes, Pascal, please.
I do have a question regarding, what kind of pricing you have in mind regarding the customers, and how do you think about your go-to-market strategy? Currently I think you have direct contact with the ones you are using those machines, but what do you have in mind regarding go-to-market strategy for the future?
So the nice thing is that we have a very clearly defined value that our solution brings, right? We save time on the machine to the worker, and that is something that we can clearly assess how much value we bring, and the pricing is value-based on that value we bring. For the go-to-market, initially it's direct sales, of course, but then there is all these distribution partners that locally have a large trust with their clients, and we're going to tap into them. We already tested this and have seen very, very nice replies because, again, everyone wants AI, but a niche market like metal machining is not the hype market where everyone goes and runs to and builds AI for them.
How big is the market actually? Because you're integrating in a very particular part of the production process. So how big is that market?
So there is 300,000 companies that own and have CNC machines, so that are basically target customers. I think if you focus on, say, well, the Western market, so in Europe that would be Germany and Switzerland, that's 30,000 clients. In the US, there's around 50,000 potential clients. So I think there is enough room for scaling within this, well, you might call it niche market, but I think it's still at the foundation of, I think, also wealth creation here in Switzerland at least 30 years ago.
Time for one quick question.
What might your exit pathways look like?
So exit path is like there's Autodesk, Dassault Systems, Siemens, right? There is many large players in the space that have, basically need for advanced solutions. I think just yesterday there was this big exit from another AI and manufacturing company for 4 billion. So I think there is enough room and also, I say, big players that can also pay a large exit price.
Wonderful, talking about exit already. So thank you so much for your pitch, Pascal. Thank you. And Manukai. The next startup is empowering a sustainability in IT with energy-efficient airflow cooling. They use electric fields to move air instead of conventional rotating machinery. The startup is called Ionic Wind Technologies, and please welcome Lyubov Shishaeva. Warm welcome, please.
Hello, everyone. Who uses ChatGPT in this room? My name is Luba. I'm the CTO of Ionic Wind Technologies, and I use ChatGPT too. ChatGPT operates thanks to the data centers, but data centers consume a huge amount of electricity together with producing a huge amount of heat. By the year 2030, 8% of global electricity will be consumed by data centers only. So we are creating a hot hell on earth with our own hands. Can you believe it? I don't even need to look so far into the future to tell you that right now, in the city of Winterthur, 35% of electricity is consumed by data centers only. But what I just said, you can easily Google yourself. And what I'm going to tell you now is something no one talks about. So please listen carefully. Our team found out that nowadays data centers cool down their service by moving cool air to the hot room, and in this process, a huge amount of little fans are implemented, which were not designed for this process at all. So these little fans are literally abused 24/7 to move air in an extremely inefficient process. What can we do about it? We have a solution. Our technology is called Ionic Wind, and we apply electricity directly to the air, ionize it, and make it accelerate by itself. No mechanical components, no noise, and no generated heat. We already have an international patent granted, and here you can see the design of our unit moving the air. So, how do we make money with our units? A very good question, very reasonable one. The trick is that we can implement our ready-to-use units to the existing data centers architectures and improve their situation immediately. It's a seamless process. We have already sold our first units and currently running 3 paid pilot projects with different companies. Our team has a very strong technical background, but not only. What makes us stand out is an excellent commercial profile. We are supported by an outstanding advisory board in our commitment to move air in a more sustainable, eco-friendly way. We move air. Moving air is a fundamental process, and our technology can be implemented in multiple industries. Cooling market is huge by itself, but we are also interested in other applications. Here you can see our dream customers. With some of them we are already in touch, and I leave it to you to guess which ones. Now I would like to finish this pitch. Thank you, and we are happy to take your questions.
Thank you very much. Moving the air sounds compelling. Please welcome to the stage as well Donato Rubinetti for the Q&A session. Jury, are you ready for your first question? Yes, Arijana, please.
Thank you so much for the pitch. Can you tell me a bit where the research came from? Are you a university spin-off, or where does the R&D come from?
This research started at EMPA in St. Gallen with a PhD project of Donato.
And in the absence of another question, what is your business model?
Classical B2B hardware sales. So we sell these units as kits, the units themselves, the one that are our key innovation, together with the drivers as a complete package to the data centers.
How far are you now in the project? Because you had a slide where I kind of saw that you already sold some units. So can you tell a little bit about that?
Correct. We have already sold some of the units, the first tiles. We are now also actively engaging our target markets with paid pilots.
True.
How far are you? I mean, you have sold the MVPs, and how much development of the product do you need to go to market properly and then to scale and sell thousands of these units, or millions, in fact?
So with our key customers, we want to scale the product. Yes, we have already a form factor that is easy to implement for them in terms of stability, also durability, and all the other needs they have, because in the product development, that's what we've done mainly this year. We got already the preliminary feedback and implemented that into the design process. So in the paid pilots, we expect to get more feedback so we can do then the next design iteration before going for design for manufacturability, and then scale the production via contract manufacturing.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I really like your solution, but I think there is also other solutions around in the market, especially water cooling. And when we look forward to quantum computing, like liquid cooling is more and more popular. What do you think about what's going on in the market, and how do you defend that?
Well, we think that our solution is better, of course, than water cooling, because first of all, we can use the existing architectures of the data centers, so we don't need to build any extra facilities, and this is something that makes us particularly attractive.
Correct. And to add to that as well, so what data centers still today mainly are air-cooled, 80% of them, and they don't want to build any water pipes. Really, and they are also built for 25 to 30 years to last. So we offer them a quick fix with our solution. At the same time, yes, for the hyperscalers, there is also liquid cooling emerging as an alternative, but there the problem is still existing. So you have the heat, instead of inside air, you have it inside water, and then you still need to remove that heat via a heat exchanger and make transition to air.
I like the way quick fix. I mean, it seems to be replaceable more or less directly in the data centers. They run 24/7. How long does it take for a team to sort of like exchange a whole data center with thousands of these?
It will take for a technician about 2 hours to retrofit a rack, one rack. Yes, and that's then based on the data centers, how many racks they want to retrofit.
And how does this retrofitting work exactly? So would that be the supplier of the server who would then do that? Is that the typical thing they would do, to go back to the customer and retrofit things? Have you talked to them? Is that something they would want to do?
Correct. As launch customers, we have the data centers themselves, the operators. Once we have established ourselves as the go-to solution for a quick retrofit, then we will scale up via the providers of racks, which we are also already in touch with. And then later on, we go via licensing.
One last quick.
Okay, one last question. Do you need to shut down the servers for the retrofit or not?
No.
Another quick one then, another quick question.
In terms of energy consumption, obviously you don't produce as much heat, but how do you compare to a traditional fan?
Yeah. So compared to a traditional fan of the same size, we are by default 48% more efficient, measured in cubic meter per hour per watt.
Cubic meter per hour per watt. Thank you so much. Big applause for this pitch. Very nice. So I know it's very hard for the last one to wait all this time until finally get on stage to pitch. So we have one last startup coming up. It is Solab Nanotechnology. Solab Nanotechnology claims to be the first durable sunlight-driven anti-fog coating. Please welcome Ivan Hechler.
Is there any winter sports lover in here? Can you raise your hand? Perfect. It's a bit dark, but we can see it. Imagine a sunny day, perfect conditions. You're excited to hit the slopes, arrive down at the ski lift, start to queue up, and then, boom, your goggles fog up. We all know how annoying this is, but not only that, it's also a safety issue. In fact, every second ski accident happens because of visibility issues. And the problem is not only limited to eyewear, as we all know. Current anti-fog solutions, like those chemical sprays or towels, are simply not durable, and you constantly have to reapply them. This is where Solabs come in. We offer you the first durable anti-fog solution, which is only activated by sunlight. Convince yourself in the video. Our ultra-thin nanocoating absorbs invisible sunlight. And did you know that 50% of the sunlight is actually invisible to the human eye? So when you enjoy your ride on the skis, this radiation constantly impinges on your eye, warms it up, but effectively has no use. Our coating absorbs this radiation, warms the lens, and prevents fog formation, and is produced with the standard technology in the eyewear industry, allowing cost-effective and immediate scalability. Upon publishing and patenting our technology at ETH, we were contacted by several players across various industries. We prioritized all that market pool, and we will focus first on the sports glass market before moving on to the automotive windshield with a license-based model, and we validated this in both these industries. Currently, we're integrating our technology on the lenses of the main sponsor of Tour de Suisse, as well as secured LOI from the biggest eyeglass or sunglass manufacturer in Switzerland. We also secured an LOI from the biggest automotive glass machine manufacturer in Switzerland. When I speak about we, our team consists of obviously technical ETH know-how, but also business know-how from HSG. And we're supported from senior level experience from the industry at On Running and Nike, and backed up by a strong advisory board, including an industry advisor, a former senior vice president from the biggest lens manufacturer in the world, Essilor. We're supported for media attention from BBC News and articles in The Economist, and currently through the ETH Pioneer Fellowship and the Bridge Proof of Concept. And currently, we seek 350,000 as convertible loans, which will help us to conquer the first market and create traction in the second market, all with the same vision, to make your life simpler. Thank you.
Thank you, Ivan. Without overtime. Perfect, perfect. Jury, are you ready to pose your questions? Yes, Jacqueline,
Yes.
please.
Hi, thank you very much. Can you elaborate a little bit on where you stand with the product? I mean, you have already a product, or you still need to develop, and a bit on the business model as well?
So the coating, as I said, is durable, which means it has to be integrated beneath the existing coatings. And that's the most important step, so we can go to manufacturers, and they really trust us with this durability. We currently just shipped out our lenses that were fabricated with an integrated coating to an official testing institute. And the idea is to really have a first prototype, integrated prototype by the end of the year.
So how does the IP landscape look in your field and in these various fields, and what kind of protection do you have?
Very good. So we filed a patent application, or ETH filed a patent application. We did an FTO with 84 patent families across Europe, identified no patent infringement, but on the other side gained a lot of know-how of the industry drivers. But there's no infringement, and we collaborate with, we have an advisory board partner from Isla Pedrazzini, the biggest IP firm in Zurich.
How do the sales cycle, I mean, it's very early on, but how do you think the sales cycle will work? I mean, now you're making a prototype and then they'll test it, and is it then for a next or the season after that they'll implement it into an actual product for the clients? Can you elaborate a little bit on that, please?
Yeah, hi, my name is Florian. I'm more from the business side, so I'm joining as well. Yeah, so to come back to your question, it's like it needs like a year. Obviously, we can't go to the players and tell them, here's our technology, do it into your next collection. This will not work. Obviously, these are processes, and we have this in mind. But apart from the royalties, we're also working with a licensing fee, like a pre-fee, which will help us to finance until really the market launch of these eyewear glasses in the first market.
Where do you see your sales in 5, 10 years?
The company or ourselves?
No, the sales.
The sales.
The revenues.
Yeah, the sales, we have a clear strategy. Since our team is limited, we have limited resources, we're first focusing on the sunglass market, which is like 1 billion sunglasses are sold worldwide yearly. But afterwards, we want to go into the windshield market, like the much bigger market, and also the medical device market, maybe as well. So we see the scalability there, and we want to enter this market steps by steps, since the technology stays the same, and all the improvement we do actually can be used for the next markets as well. So we see each other not just in one market, but in various markets using the same industry with the same business model. Number, like we have a forecast in 2030, 15 million Swiss francs in the first phase, and from there on we want to scale. With break-even budget in 2027.
So I know it's a bit early, but given you already know break-even in 27, how is your exit strategy, especially that you tackle different type of industries?
Very good question, which we also identified with our patent lawyer. So the idea and the risk of having an M&A in the first industries is there. So the idea is to focus on the sunglass market, and there might be an exit, and then give only unique license right for that specific market, either geographically even, but definitely segment-wise, so sunglass market-wise, and then keep the IP for the future markets.
So I think the problem you're addressing is very clear, and Pascal just told me that he has tried so many glasses which promise to do that, and none of them work really well. So if you can solve it, I think that's really cool. Of course, my question is, how well will your solution work? And what evidence do you have right now, at the prototype level, that this is not only working in principle and in the lab, but out there at different conditions, different temperature, and really the fog is off? That's what it needs to do at the end, right?
Absolutely. So as I said, it's activated by sunlight. Like your PV, doesn't work at night, which is also why we focus on the sports glass and the outdoor market. To answer your question regarding how it works under less ideal conditions, the video you saw was outdoors in a real-world condition in Davos, and we're currently testing on the roof of ETH at cloudy days like today, whether we still see an effect, and we do. And the idea is to have a scientific publication the next year coming out and backing all that up.
Time is up. Thank you so much for that pitch. Thank you. It was the last one, so big applause here. Thank you so much. Also, I want to thank the jury very much that you've been here for all your good questions. So big applause for the jury as well. Thank you. So the winner will be announced at the ceremony, so not today. But I have to say, this was the third year that I hosted this pitching session, and the quality this year is really, really high. So that was just the pre-seed financing pitching session. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow when we go to the seed financing pitching session. It will be taking place at 5 o'clock tomorrow, so hopefully we all see you there. Thank you so much and enjoy the startup nights.